What's up, everyone? Mark Lobliner, Muscle Politics, where I separate business from personal. These are my personal opinions, not necessarily reflecting those of TigerFitness.com. However, I do have quite a political opinion. Politics might be in my future, and honestly, I think someone needs to say it. Because I believe there's a lot of libertarian-minded thinkers, or people who are libertarian-minded thinkers, but don't even know the party exists. And hopefully, being that I do talk, well, I'm not talking like a liberal, astute professor at Yale with my friggin' nose up in the air. No, I'm just a hardworking American businessman, raised in California, born in Illinois, now living in the good old South. North Carolina, second to Texas and South Carolina. You know, we're about there with South Carolina. Here's the thing. Gun control. I hate guns. I hate them. I don't like them. I don't like them at all. I don't like the risk factor. And I wish the world was like the fairy tales that my daughter watches. You know, but even then there's villains and there's weapons and there's axes. I was watching Brave the other day and, you know, you got things happening. You know, you watch The Jungle Book, people capping on bears. You know, it's not a good thing. I don't like guns. I don't like them. But they are a form of protection, the ultimate form of protection, and the criminals have them. We have over 300 million guns in circulation in the United States of America. You know that? 300 million guns. Those are ones we know about. You got the government running guns over the Mexican cartels. I don't know what the hell. There's theories that they were doing it to get gun crime up, to ban guns and take them out of Americans' hands. I hate guns. I do. I hate war. I hate it all. I wish we could all just get together, sing Kumbaya, and hold hands, and dance, and do the river dance, and all that stuff. But unfortunately, the world's a messed up place. You look at even the Bible, look at biblical times, and there were wars. There was fighting. The ultimate price. And look at the origins of our country, the Revolutionary War. Of course the British want gun control in America. We kicked your ass once. Just kidding. I love the British. I'm going to go there again this year. Please don't kick my ass. Australia, you know what? I've been to Australia. It's a much different society. I'll tell you what. There's a lot less noticeable violence. Sydney, you could walk down in the middle of the night. However, you got Chicago in the United States with pretty much the highest gun violence in the world and probably the most draconian gun laws in the United States of America. It's shown not to work. California, I grew up on the streets of California. They do not report stuff in the hood. There's shootings every day. All right, every single day. And it's the forgotten ones. You know, I was shedding tears, and I still do, for those children who lost their lives. You know, okay, not even going to mention the event. It sucks. But contrast that every single day in Inglewood, in Compton, in Chicago. It happens. It's part of life. So you got this douchebag Bloomberg. Yeah, I said douchebag. The guy who banned big gulps. Okay? This is why we need guns for these crazy government people. If they ban big gulps now, what are they going to ban later to be good for us? Alright? We'll get into that later, why the gun control law cannot go. Why we need guns as a nation, not just to protect ourselves, protect our freedom. And I speak as a person whose grandfather escaped Auschwitz in World War II. Yep, I'm not a crazy Christian like you. Oh my goodness, he's a crazy Christian gun owner. Nah, I'm just a normal, hardworking Jewish business owner. Except I don't own a bank or sell jewelry. Or am I a lawyer or a doctor, as my mom wanted me to be. Look, Bloomberg's a piece of shit. I'll tell you that. Bloomberg is obviously the most hypocritical son of a bitch in the history of the world. Not only does he ban big gulps, this guy comes out and says we can't have guns. We don't need protection. Let the government protect us, as he sleeps in a house surrounded by 15 armed guards. I'll give up my gun when you give up your armed security, Mr. Bloomberg. Oh, well, I'm in power. Guess what? I made a lot of enemies in business, fella. Made a lot of enemies. There's a lot of people who might want to kill me. And I'll be damned if someone's going to break into my house and not get a bullet lodged between their eyes. Or in the kill zone, which is right here, as I learned in gun school. Alright? So yeah, you're a hypocrite. And so one of the solutions, get rid of guns. That ain't going to happen. The criminals, the crazies will still get the guns. And I'll be damned if you try to confiscate guns out of good citizens' hands in the United States of America. So let's look at President Barack Obama, whose daughters go to a school with 11 armed security guards. They're not the only kids in this school. This ain't homeschool. This ain't anything. They also have Secret Service surrounding them. But these rich people feel that they have the right to be protected from evil. Evil exists. And it's the good citizens. The good citizens, like that person in California. Y'all read this story? They were having a slumber party. His daughter. Somebody tried to break into his house. 3 armed men. What'd he do? Capped on them. Who knows if we would have had another Newtown in that situation. But because that homeowner, responsible citizen of the United States of America, had a firearm, he was able to get them out of there and protect his home and protect those children. Okay, the cops weren't there. The cops will even tell you they can't get there that quick. The crime's been done, as they say in the South. It's been done yonder. I can't even speak Southern. I need to work on this if I'm going to stay here. So, Obama, the minute you take armed security out of your kids' lives, I'll take it out of mine. Speaking of schools, the NRA had an idea. Now, I side with the NRA a lot. I got to admit, I'm all about the Second Amendment. And again, I'm someone who hates guns. I hate them. Absolutely despise them. However, the minute he says his daughters don't need armed security because there's no evil in the world, they've eradicated it, is when I give up my guns. Unfortunately, these people think that they're better than us and that they deserve protection. These celebrities who did that public service announcement, they're all surrounded by armed security guards. So, who are the names of these douchebags? I forgot. You know, a bunch of these guys who rap and sing and are in movies about capping fools and shooting guns and smacking hoes. These guys are going to sit here and tell me that guns are bad. You limousine damn liberals, all right? You're a limousine liberal, and you need to shut up and stop being a damn hypocrite. Get rid of your armed security. Get rid of them. Then I'll get rid of mine. All right? All right. Okay. So, I'm going to go into the one argument that you hear a lot from the left and from international. I have a lot of friends overseas. I respect their opinion on gun control. And I do think it's a whole different ball game in the United States. There's too many guns out there. We ain't going to bring them back. They're not leaving. They're staying. You ain't going to get all the guns. You might get all the good people's guns who registered them. Last time I checked, criminals don't register guns. That's why me, as a registered gun owner, I don't really see them getting my guns. At least not in the South. You Yankees, see that? See, I'm acting Southern. You Yankees up there in the North, you can let the government trample all over your rights. You can let Mayor Bloomberg ban big gulps, ban salt in restaurants. But I'll be damned if you do that stuff here in the South. You ain't doing that. Texas, North Carolina, South Carolina, go ahead, try your best, kids. Oh, we'll soon as hell go to war against the federal government before we give up our big gulps. Thought I was going to say guns. Check it out. Okay, homicide has begun to decline slightly since according to a 2011 Centers for Disease Control report, with corresponding drop in homicides by firearms. Homicide is not even among the top 15 leading causes of death in America. That would be accidents were number 5. Suicide was a solid number 10. Homicides total 16,799 with 11,493 attributed to guns. During that same year, motor vehicle deaths were 34,485. They tripled that of guns. Death from accidental falls totaled 24,792. Almost double the firearms homicide total. And just to let you know, my father-in-law carried a gun every single day of his life in California. He was one of the few and the proud, the lucky ones who could carry. And he died falling. Fell off a roof putting up Christmas lights. Accidents happen. But that just goes to show you how the statistics play out. So gun deaths have gone down in the past 2 decades. Significantly. So let's go on to other countries. A recent opinion piece in the Wall Street Journal by Joyce Lee Malcolm shows that the argument is, it's hollow. After a school massacre in the UK, they banned handguns in 1998. A decade later, handgun crime has doubled. Australia banned many guns following a 1996 mass murder of 35 people by a madman with assault rifles. The country tightened registration laws, banned assault rifle, pump-action shotguns, and forced a buyback of more than 600,000 guns. What effect did this have on crime, fellas? 2003 study published by the Brookings Institute found homicides continued a modest decline since 1997. They conclude the impact of the National Firearms Agreement was relatively small, with the daily rate of firearms homicides declining 3.2%. During the same period in America, deaths attributed to firearms dropped by nearly 10 times the decline seen in Australia. Restricting or confiscating handguns seems to have had almost no effect on homicides in Australia. And the stats also showed that the law had no real effect on suicides. Suicides with firearms went down, but suicides by other means went up. Okay, essentially, people who want to kill themselves sometimes are successful. Okay, restrictive gun laws have been around for 100 years in England. Self-defense is not considered to be a good reason in England. Following a 1987 shooting in the British town of Hungerford, the Brits enacted stricter controls. In 1998, a near-total gun ban followed. What happened after this? Within a decade of the handgun ban and the confiscation of handguns from registered owners, crime with handguns had doubled, according to British government crime reports. Gun crime, not a serious problem in the past, now is. Armed street gangs have some British police carrying guns for the first time. Basically, British police didn't even carry guns back in the day. I hate guns, okay? So that's besides the point. Second Amendment is written to prevent the government from getting too powerful and taking away our rights, which we are seeing. And I'm going to use Bloomberg and the Big Gulf. If someone's such a power-hungry piece of shit like Bloomberg, and I hope one day I'm in office and I can tell him to his face that I think he's a power-hungry piece of shit and a hypocrite. Anybody who takes away my big gulps is going to suffer. Suffer my political wrath. Okay, I'm never going to get elected the way I talk. Let's be serious here. Tyranny. Look, Revolutionary War, Civil War, the right to bear arms was written. And keep in mind, when they were writing the Constitution, they were like, all right, freedom of speech is probably really, really important. Let's put that number one. Second, they're like, man, well, what happens if the government becomes like those crazy British people with their king and queen and all that stuff? What are we going to do? Oh, we need a right for the people to rise up. And they need to have the same kind of weapons as the present-day military do. Let's write that as number 2. Second Amendment is damn important, people. It's important. We need to keep it intact. We definitely do. Because I'll be damned if I'm going to go through what my grandfather went through in World War II. My grandfather was imprisoned in Auschwitz. He escaped. Upon escaping, he was shot in the stomach. He was rescued by the Hungarian anti-war guerrillas. Was helped out. They treated his wound as best they could in their conditions. He went to fight the Nazis. He went on to fight the Nazis in World War II. And at the end of the day, you know which side won. And you know what? Hitler loved gun control. Everybody thinks, oh, that's not going to happen nowadays. Everybody thought that in the World War II era, guys. And this mean man named Hitler. Look what Saddam was doing to his own people, the Kurds. Look at what's going on in Egypt right now. It's not a good situation. Look at what's going on in our own country. When the government has gone completely insane, has spent us into oblivion, and has raised our debt by trillions of dollars to communist nations like China. Our government refuses to cut spending. Our government refuses to do their job, and that is to work for the will of the people. Our government relies on votes of the uneducated and the uninformed to be elected on both sides. Our government is running away from us. And the one thing keeping them in check is knowing that the people still have power. A newspaper article in New York. listed the names of gun owners, and they're doing it again. Their addresses, their names of registered gun owners. What this does, it ain't going to hurt them. Ain't no criminal going to their house knowing they're going to be strapped. Their neighbors who aren't armed. That's who it hurts. So you stupid liberal newspaper writers in New York, I hope you rot in hell for doing that, for endangering those people. And you know what? So y'all thinking about coming here, yep, I might have one. Does that make you think twice about coming into my house? And yes, it is secured, kept away from my children, handled responsibly. So think about if a criminal is looking to come into someone's house, are they going to come into my house knowing that a 235-pound, ripped, shredded, great-looking, amazing, handsome, took it too far, didn't I? Able-bodied male is standing there with whatever, a 22, a 9, standard revolver, a Bushmaster, doesn't matter. That is why that newspaper, while it is public information, they did a disservice to that community and put everybody without a gun at risk. And to that, I wish them the worst. Everybody, from the guy who prints that paper to the guy at top, nobody stood up and said something. That's irresponsible journalism. Like all the crap we see going on with the mind-numbing liberal media. And you know what? I'm bipartisan. And also Fox News. You guys are so damn brainwashed on the right, there's no even news. Where do I get the news now? I got to read everything and decipher it and go by my principles in the Constitution and my beliefs in a free society as a libertarian. That's what I'm going to do. With that said, fellas, I appreciate you listening. This is my opinion. This does not reflect the opinion of TigerFitness.com. While I am a figure with TigerFitness.com, this is just my political beliefs. Please don't listen to them if they offend you. And of course, please don't let it jeopardize you buying supplements or any fitness equipment from me. I am open for debate. Please be sure to post your comments in the comments section. Debate leads to enlightenment. And hey, maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong many times in the past and I've changed my views. So please, rather than just boycotting something for someone's opinion, put your 2 cents. Let me know why I'm wrong. Do a response video. That's all I ask. Let's debate this fair. Let's debate this like we should, as Americans who want what's best for our country. And hey, if you're from another country and you don't like what I said about your statistics or about the king and queen, and by the way, that prince who's in the military, he's a real man. That dude who's just getting married and stuff, dude, that's not the real prince. Who is it, Harry and William? William's the one in the military, dude. That guy's a real G. That guy's doing his thing. And to that, as Louis Marco says, I salute him. All right, guys, that's Muscle Politics. Appreciate it. Mark Lobliner, Muscle Politics. Peace out.